Hello, sir and friends. My name is Saragih. I'm from Nomensen University, Pematang Siantar. I'm from English department, and now I want to present my mid-semester assignment. Enjoy the video. Okay, what is discourse analysis? Part 1: Definition and main features. Defining the discipline. Definition 1: The analysis of language in use it cannot be restricted to the description of linguistic forms independent of the purpose or functions that those forms are designed to serve in human affairs. Brown and Yeo, 1983. Definition 2: Discourse analysis is not just the analysis of language, but the analysis of language as a social practice and how text works and functions within that social cultural practice. Fairclough, 2003. Definition 3: A method for studying written or spoken language in relation to its social context. It aims to understand how language is used in real-life situations. Skirt, 2023. Definition 4: A general terms for a number of approaches to analyze written, vocal, or sign language use, or any significant semiotic event. It analyzes language use beyond the boundary of the sentence. Definition 5: Discourse analysis provides an understanding of how language works, how it is used, what it is used for, and how it is related to social and cultural contexts. Paltridge, 2012. Next, main features. Synthesize from the definitions. Okay, main features 1. Beyond the sentence. The unit of analysis is larger than a single sentence. It studies paragraphs, entire conversations, or whole text. Second, language in use. It focuses on naturally occurring language in real-life situations, not abstract or invented examples. Third, context is key. Meaning is not found in word alone, but is interpreted based on the social, cultural, and situational context. Fourth, language as social practice. Language is not just a tool for description, it is a form of social action. We do things with words. Example, persuade, command, apologize. Fifth, power and ideology. Yeah, discourse is a side of power and social struggle. Discourse analysis can uncover how language constructs and maintains social hierarchies, identities, and beliefs. Summary: what all the definitions agree on? Core focus: language above the sentence level. Naturally occurring language. Language in use. The relationship between language and its context. And core purpose: to understand how people use language to do things, to see how language constructs social reality, identity, and power, to analyze functions, not just forms. Okay, why do we study discourse analysis? The core purpose, part 2, revealing the unseen. Language is not a neutral mirror or of reality. It is a powerful tool that actively shapes our world. We study discourse analysis to understand how it shapes it. The central premise of discourse analysis. Okay, reason 1: to uncover power and ideology. Language is never neutral. It is deeply connected to power, authority, and social hierarchies. Critical discourse analysis, or CDA, focus on this. We study discourse analysis to ask who benefits from this way of talking. It reveals how language can be used to legitimize authority, marginalized groups and spread a particular worldview or ideology. Reason 2. To understand identity construction. Professional identity. How do doctors, lawyers, or scientists are use specific language like jargon tone to establish their expertise and authority? And next, social identity. How do we use language like slang, accents, topics to signal our membership in a social group, subculture, and community? And next, gendered identity. Okay, gendered identity. How is gender performed through talk? Discourse analysis explores and challenges how we talk about man and woman differently. Reason 3. To see how reality is socially constructed. Framing is everything. The words we choose don't just describe reality, they create it. This is social constructionism. The choice of words frames how we perceive an issue. Consider the difference. It is a refugee or an illegal migrant. It is enhanced interrogation or torture. Is he a terrorist or a freedom fighter? Discourse analysis studies the immense power in this choice. Okay, reason 4. To analyze institutional language. Medical discourse. How do doctors use language to communicate or obscure information? How does the doctor-patient power dynamic appears in talk? In legal discourse, how is a story constructed in a courtroom? How do lawyers and witnesses use language to argue for a specific version of the truth? In medial discourse, how does the new outlet frame an event? What word, what words are chosen? What what voices are included or exclude to shape public opinion? And reason 5. To improve communication. Intercultural communication. Why do misunderstandings happen between cultures? Discourse analysis analyzes different styles of talk, silence, and turn-taking. Conflict resolution. By analyzing the positions and assumptions in each party's story, discourse analysis can help find common ground. Professional clarity. It can be used to write clear instructions, more persuasive arguments, or more empathic responses. Reason 6. To understand digital and new media. Language is evolving faster than ever. Discourse analysis provides the tools to analyze the new forms of communication. How do memes function as arguments? How are online communities built through shared language? How does anonymity on social media change how people interact? How is fake news constructed to be persuasive? In summary, why studies discourse analysis? Yeah, we study discourse analysis to move from being passive consumers of language to becoming active and critical interpreters of the world we live in. It gives us the tools to see how our social world is built, one utterance at a time. Discourse analysis, meaning and applications. Part 3. Spoken and written discourse. Yeah, the core meaning of discourse analysis. Meaning language as social action. Discourse analysis means viewing language not as a passive code, but as dynamic social practice used by people to enact identities, build relationships, and maintain or challenge power structures. Synthesizing Fairclough, Brown and Yu. The use of discourse analysis, bridging text and context. The primary use of discourse analysis is to systemically analyze the link between the linguistic features of a message or text and the social environment in which it occurs, or context. It allows researchers to trace why is a speaker or writer choose particular words. It reveals the underlying interpretations or ideological positions that may not be immediately obvious. It provides a rigorous method for interpreting meaning beyond literal sentence. Applications: spoken discourse, method, conversational analysis. Method conversational analysis or CA focus on micro-level details like term checking, pauses, overlaps, repair mechanism, and sequence of organization. Use interactional mechanics. Discourse analysis reveals how social order and relationships, example, a difference, authority, are managed moment by moment in talk. Example focus, timing, a pause or silence of 2 seconds in a spoken reply can signal disagreement, contemplation, or discomfort. Spoken example, a job in interview. Dialogue transcript, simplified. Interviewer, I. So, tell me about your weakness. Candidate, hmm, 2.0 sec pause. I think I tend to overthink things. Interviewers, I see. Discourse analysis use first string checking. The interviewer's question forces the candidate into a dispreferred response or negative information. Pause 2 seconds. The pause signals difficulty or discomfort in formulating the answer, showing the question is sensitive. Filler or caulk. The and caulk are repair mechanisms used to hold the floor while constructing a socially acceptable answer. Application: written discourse. Method: critical discourse analysis. Focus on textual structures, lexical choice, grammar, nomi- nominalizations, and presupposition in relation to social power. Use framing and representation. Discourse analysis reveals how certain groups, events, or policies are represented in text, like media, policy documents, textbooks, to shape opinion. Example focus agency, analyzing the grammatical subject, who is doing the action, reveals who the text holds accountable for an event. Write an example analyzing news headlines. Headline comparison. Headline A: protesters riot in downtown area. Headline B: police attack peaceful crowd. Headline C: violence erupts as demonstrator and police clash, or nominalizations. Discourse analysis shows A versus B. Analysis shows a difference in agency. A gives agency to protesters or negative connotations. B gives agency to police, negative connotations. C nominalizations by using violent erupts, the agency is removed. It implies the violence was spontaneous natural events, absolving both practice of blame. Synthesis: discourse analysis as a method. Whether spoken or written, discourse analysis over a unified lens. It teaches it teaches us to be skeptical of the surface meaning and to seek out the social, political, and cultural works that language is always performing. Key takeaway: discourse analysis is fundamentally interpretive and contextual. Linguistic form versus pragmatic functions. Part 4. Sentence, utterance, and social action. The core distinction, what is said versus what is done. Discourse analysis focus on the function or action over the form or structure. Concept 1. Linguistic forms or structures. Definition: the literal shape, structure, and classification of linguistic unit based on grammar and syntax. Focus: grammar, morphology, syntax. Judgment: grammatically correct or incorrect. Questions: what is the structures? Example: i- is it a question, statement, or command? Primary forms or sentence types. Every sentence can be classified by its forms. First, declarative forms. Makes a statement, example, it is hot. Interrogative forms asks a question, example, it is hot. And third, imperative forms give a command, example, turn on the fans. Linguistic or syntax stops here. Okay, concept 2, pragmatic function or action. Definition: the intended, the intended purpose, goal, or social action that the speaker or writer performs by using linguistic forms. Focus, intent, context, social effects, like speech acts. Judgment, appropriate or inappropriate in context. Question, what is being done? Example, is the speaker requesting, warning, or asserting? Primary function, speech acts. Functions are classified by the acts performed. First, directive. Aim at getting someone to do something. Example, requesting, commanding. Second, representative. State belief or claims. Example, asserting and concluding. Third, expressive. Conveys feelings. Example, apologizing and thanking. Spoken example, mismatch form and function. Scenario, office meeting with a closed door. The utterance, speaker A says, it's quite cold in here. Isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it? With rising tone. Linguistic form, interrogative or question. The analyze, pragmatic function, indirect request or directive. The speaker is not seeking information about the temperature. They are indirectly requesting that someone close the window or turn up the heat, making the utterance function as a command. Write an example from implied function. Scenario, sign on a door in a laboratory. The written text, safety goggles are required beyond this point. Linguistic forms, declarative or statement. The analysis, pragmatic function, warning or obligatory. Command or directive. Although structured as a simple statement of fact or declarative, the science function, given the context, laboratory door, is to command people to wear goggles and warn them of danger. The unit of analysis, sentence versus utterance. The units of study, the sentence, scope, syntax, and formal linguistics. Definition, an abstract, self-contained unit defined by grammatical rules. Key feature can be true, false, or grammatically correct or incorrect even in isolation. Example, she opened the window. The utterance, scope, discourse analysis, and pragmatics. Definition, a piece of language, like spoken, written, or sign, used by a specific person in a specific context. Key feature, the meaning of function depend entirely on context and social interaction. Example, window only makes sense and as an utterance. Utterance example, spoken, non-sentential speech. the utterance, coffee, black, now. Linguistic form, sentence level, analysis, not grammatically complete sentence. They are simple non-phrase and an adverb or interjection. A syntax-only analysis would deem this speech highly fragmented and insufficient. Pragmatic function or utterance level. Context 1, restaurant. The function is a request or order from a customer to a waiter. Context 2, military command. The function is a strong command or instruction from an officer to subordinate, leveraging briefly for authority. Utterance example in written digital discourse. The utterance just landed with emoji late. Linguistic forms, traditional view, analysis, fragmented, use acronym late as a capital word likely for emphasis, and not linguistic units, emojis, not covered by traditional grammar. A grammar-only analysis would be most of the communicative purpose. Pragmatic function, utterance view, function, inserting a position and expressing emotion, or representative or expressive. The emojis plan set emojis are essential components of the utterance, fulfilling the expressive function and conveying mood, relief, exhaustion, frustration that the word alone cannot. Synthesis. Form is potential, function is realization. The form, sentence, or linguistic structure provides the potential meaning. The function, utterance, or social act is the meaning realized in a specific context, in a specific social context. Discourse analysis principle. The rule of context in interpretation. Part 5. Pragmatic discourse context and context of situations. Meaning does not reside in words. What is context? Context is the entire set of shared knowledge, physical surroundings, and preceding text that allows us to interpret what a speaker means by what they say. Why context is non-negotiable? Language is inherently ambiguous. Context is the tool we use to resolve that ambiguity. Lexical ambiguity: does bank mean a river, bank, or a financial bank? Only context tells us. Functional ambiguity is: can you pass the salt? A question or a request? Only context tells us. Context is the operating system for language processing. Concept 1. Pragmatics, meaning in action. Speaker meaning. Pragmatics studies the gap between literal meaning, or semantics, and the speaker's intended meaning, or speech acts. Inference is the study of how a hearer use contextual clues and share assumptions or grace maxims to infer the speaker intentions. Cooperative principle. Pragmatics assumes we are cooperative and try to make sense. This assumption is what allows interpretation to happen. Pragmatic context in action in inference. The dialogue. A. Are you coming to the party tonight? B. I have to study for my final exam. Pragmatic interpretation, literal meaning. B. A statement of fact about studying. Pragmatic inference. B. No, I am not coming. How? B assumes A will use the maxim of relevance. The only reason to mention studying or context is to imply a no answer. Concept 2. Discourse context, the textual words. Context, the immediate linguistic environment, the words and sentence that come before and after a specific utterance. Cohesion, context provides the clues like pronouns, conjunctions that link sentences together into a coherent whole. Anaphora or cataphora, discourse context allow us to interpret pronouns. Example, he, she, it by referring to previously mentioned or upcoming information. Discourse, context, in action. Context. Example 1. The dog was chasing a cat. It ran up a tree. Interpretation. The context, the dog, a cat, for us to interpret it as the cat based on real world knowledge articulated by the discourse. Example 2. The software update failed. It completely erased my hard drive. Interpretation. The context, the software update failed. Make it refer to the entire event or failure, not just the update itself. Concept 3. Context of situation, the social world. Feel what is happening, the social activity itself, what is the purpose of the interaction. Example, a legal trial, a family dinner, a lecture. Tenor, who is involved, the relationship between participants. Example, status, power, familiarity, social roles like doctor, patients. Math, mode, how is it happening? The medium of communication. Example, written, spoken, email, public speech, text message. Context of situation in action. The utterance well done. Context 1. Praise. Field cooking competition. Tenor. Judge high status to contestant low status. Mode. Spoken formal. Interpretation. Literal praise for a skillful performance. Context 2. Sarcasm. Field office break room. Tenor. College to college or equal status who just spilled coffee. Mode, spoken informal ironic tone. Interpretation, sarcastic criticism, meaning the opposite of the words. Synthesis, the layers of the context. Language is a map. Pragmatics is the intention of the map maker. Discourse context is the rest of the map. Context of situation is the physical landscape itself. You need all three to find your way. Metaphor for interpretation. And the presentation, now I say thank you. Thanks for watching.